Good afternoon. This is the knitting news from Knit Happens Teesside for the 46th week of 2024. My name's Annie, and the other night at knitting, Jill was working on her pink tunic that I have told you about already. She's also been really busy knitting all of these Christmas decorations. Aren't they fabulous? So they're poinsettias for tea lights, and she bought the tea lights that you can put batteries in that are sparkly. So I think they're for charity. So she's back onto her tunic because she was doing them in between. Helen, well, she would have been working on her shawl, but I did promise her some navy blue mohair silk lace, and forgot to take it. So she also had some what might be gift knitting, so I better not talk about it. And the shawl that she is making is wonderful. It feels lovely. It's one strand of 4-ply merino with 2 strands of the mohair silk lace. And I think that's why it's got used up so quickly. So she is going through a range of blues, but I do think that she wanted a little bit more navy blue, so it's here. She did have a little bit of her circular needle was like a curly-whirly. It was, and I know you can relax them by putting them in warm water, but I still don't know that it would be as good as some that you get that are really flexible and are quite a bit finer. So she's finished the blanket for her mum, the fiddle lap blanket. Isn't it fantastic? In fact, we did say when she put it up on the wall to take photographs, and Jill said, "You won't forget it there, will you?" And she very, very nearly did. So that's what she was doing. I was working on this little cardigan. I've made quite a few cardigans now. So this was knit. Each piece was knit up to just above the first pattern. So the 2 fronts, the 2 sleeves and the back. And then they were all joined together, and this is like a yoke. And there's some decreasing before the lace pattern. It's not lace. It is lace. And then there's some decreasing afterwards. What it didn't say was to go down to a smaller needle to do the neck rib. And I did think in the book it looked a little bit not the right shape. So I'm quite happy with what I've done there. Also, no buttonholes. It does state in the pattern that the holes within the knitting will be big enough to put the small buttons through. So I'll let you know how that goes. And wouldn't that be a revelation? Because actually, some of my garments with buttonholes, I think my buttonholes are a little bit baggy and they slip open on some of my garments. They need extra stitches and things, or extra pulling while I'm making them. So I have to find some small enough buttons that will go through, but I still might put some stitches in so Mum knows where the buttons go, because she might be a bit flummoxed about buttons and no buttonholes. I think that's my opinion. Right, That's about, I'm sorry, but that's it for knitting. I don't know what I'm doing next. I shall have to, I'm probably either going to make a hat that matches this or a hat that matches the beige and cream stripy wrap over cardigan that I made previously, which is, so this is an acrylic yarn, and the beige and cream is more of a merino, and probably if there's enough I might make 2 hats to go with 2 cardigans. That's the plan. On the pet front, oh, before pets, what I am wearing is a design that was in a Rowan book a long time ago, Rowan 37, and it is by Martin Story and is called Hike. So it has a bit of a collar. Now this came out of my cabinet, the cabinet that I had all my knitteds in, and my husband's been fixing it for me because the door had fallen off and the glass had fallen out of one part of the door, as well as the leg falling off. So the leg is on, but the door's getting put together and put on as we speak. It might even be done. But what I had to do was take all of the jumpers out and all of the cardigans out. So this is one I haven't worn for a long time. And when I was doing so, the sun was shining in the room and there was quite a lot of dust. So what I have done is wash this one, and I'm going to do them in sort of batches and put them back in as they're done. So this is called Hike, and it was probably supposed to be a little bit more loose, but loose doesn't really suit my body type because I'm short and pear-shaped, and if I wear something loose I just look like a big square or a little square. So that's this one, and it's made with Shetland wool from a wool shop that was closing down. So if you look closely you can see there's all beautiful colours in it. It's not just sort of it's a grey, lilac-y grey sort of colour overall. And I can't tell you much about sewing the zip in because it's so long since I did sew. It does go a bit to the side, doesn't it? But it's all right. And it's warm and it's not too thick. Right, what's happened this week has been quite interesting if you're interested in my pet life. The dogs are fine. They've got a new friend. You know what cats are like. So I messaged the lady from the cat rescue where Millie came from. Now, it took about 2 or 3 weeks for Millie to come to live with us. So it did take quite a while to arrange, and we've got 2 dogs. So I did think that, well, I'll message her. And I said, we have loved having a cat, and if you have one that could possibly live with our 2 dogs, we'd be interested in rehoming it. Thinking that this was going to take a while. By tea time, I got a message back saying, yes, we have got a cat. She's a tabby and she's called Queenie, and I have to go to Durham tomorrow anyway, so I will drop her off at about tea time. When the lady arrived, I went out of the house to greet her and Queenie, and she got a crate out of a car and it had a black and white cat in it, and she said, this is Esme. So I thought, well, a cat's a cat and you don't know any of them until you know them, do you? So I was absolutely fine with that. I have had a tabby before and she was absolutely lovely, and I've never had a black and white cat, but she's lovely. So she said she's called Esme. After the lady had gone, I looked on the website and it said that she was called Elsa. I didn't like Elsa. Esme was okay, but I did think that, well, this cat really doesn't have a name. So we have spent all week trying to find a name that suits her that sticks. I didn't think that that would be difficult really, but it has been. So we've had various names. We did settle on Nora and then decided no. There's Molly because we had Millie, so we thought Millie Molly. Edna was one I'd thought of. Tilly. Peggy. All sorts of names, isn't there? At the moment she's called Daisy because they call cows Daisy and she's black and white, like a black and white cow. That's what she's called at the moment. So as you can see, she's rather beautiful. But on the website, it was the most ugly cat picture that you've ever seen, I would have thought. It was like nobody's going to choose her from that. Anyway, this cat is all cat. She opened the drawer on our divan on the bed, got in. The drawer must have shut behind her, but I didn't realise because I was sitting up in the bed having my breakfast. And it was like there was a gremlin in the bed. And she went all around the bed. And I thought, why isn't she coming back out? So I went round the other side and opened the drawer. And she was upside down looking at me as I opened the drawer. She's she's only about 14 months they said, and she's been spayed and she's chipped, but I haven't got any more information than that because she kind of just dropped her off and left us to get on with it. She's crazy. She's been everywhere, in every corner you could think of.
Got cats coming out of ears, isn't it? Sad, probably true that what you just read out. I can pull one in the west.
Oh, she is. There she is. Hello. Is that where you sleep? Behind the piano? In the piano? Is that where you've been? She's rather fast. Did she go? She's very playful. She likes you to stand in the kitchen. When you stand in the kitchen, she rubs around your legs. She's not very cuddly and doesn't particularly like being picked up, but you can remove her. But she doesn't want to be cuddled, so I don't know what's happened with her there, but I think she'll get over that. And she's a little bit bitey, but I think it's kind of playfulness as well. Though my daughter picked her up the other night and she did bite her and scratch her, so that wasn't very good. But she still loves her. So actually, I think that's most of what I have to tell you about. What are you doing? So I think that's all my news for this week. So more news, maybe next week.